Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Hi, you're over here. I'm looking over there, but I know you're here. You're here there, and I'm here, and you're there. Or vice versa, depending on where you are and where I am. But anyway, hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Operation Status Quo here on a Wednesday. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm a little messed up on my days of the week, right? Because of the holiday and everything. How you guys doing out there? You feeling good? They're coming down off the Christmas high, as it were, right? You know, everybody's. I was out for my walk this morning, and I passed by somebody that I normally pass. She goes with her kids, pushing her kids around in the stroller there or whatever, and the first thing she said, she goes, "Oh, it's all over. I'm so sad." And it really made me think, to be honest with you, just how our society is that way, right? It's so funny with these holidays. We build all this stuff up. And we're all excited. Then the day comes and it's like, and everybody's kind of down and out. It's usually, the day after Christmas for me was always that way. That's why I don't like to get too involved with Christmas. I like Christmas Eve, and that's about it. You start getting involved in Christmas Day, usually by right after, early day, Christmas Day, you start feeling depressed, right? Because it's over, and then all the decorations are out, and they don't mean anything anymore. It's really a weird kind of thing. All this buildup for happiness, it turns into some sort of state of depression. It's a shame. We should really just structure our society so that we're just kind of happy and jolly all the time, instead of just trying to pick certain moments and then build it up and then let everybody down, build it up and then let everybody down, right? Over and over again. It's kind of disparaging. But anyway, I'm glad you're here with me today, and I hope you're feeling good. You should be feeling good. It's always, I'm just saying, it's always a good time to feel good, and it's always your choice to do just that. Feeling good, right? I'm Pete Palma. I am your user-friendly host right here on Operation Status Quo. This is the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo. So rapidly approaching the new year. You guys make some New Year's resolutions and stuff out there? Let me know in the comments. I would like for just one person to put one comment here that tells me that you actually saw this. Just somebody say something in the comments for a change, and make me feel good for the end of the new year. That'll be a wonderful gift. But seriously, whatever. You don't want to comment, you don't have to. But I'm always open to whatever you have to say. So feel free to do so if you are inspired to do as such. Okay. Today is the 27th of December. Oh my gosh, 27th of December in the good year 2023. And today's program is entitled, ladies and gentlemen, please God, don't research anything. Actually, not the whole title. The title is just please don't research anything. So I put anything in capitals. Anything, please. For the love of God, do not research anything. So it turns out that there was a an article that came out that was done, a study, a scientific study that was done that explains why doing your own research leads people to believing in conspiracy theories. And I found this, of course, so interesting because, there's never been such a the topic of conspiracy theories hasn't been this engaging or, at the forefront of information in my whole life. There's always been conspiracy theories, but it's never been, pushed in this type of way. And I just like the idea to, first of all, let's just take a step back before I even get into the article and everything. But just to say, right, we're looking for information in this world all the time of things that have happened, right? Just in general, we're always searching for information. And then, there's the story, like the mainstream will give us, the people that we think are, the good guys that are running everything, the news, the politicians, the corporations, and they always have, their story of this is what's happening, right? And then if you don't believe that story, or some of that information doesn't seem like it jives too well, then all of a sudden, you're a conspiracy theorist. They make this whole term, this conspiracy, and of course we realize that the term conspiracy theories and such, really kind of germinated, I guess, when Kennedy was assassinated and people didn't believe, the Warren Commission report. So that means, well, and listen, that should tell everybody everything they need to know right from there, because anybody who just believes that it was, Lee Harvey Oswald that just, at the book depository, took a couple shots and killed them. I mean, anybody who believes that, come on, let's just be real. Obviously, this is the president of the United States, and there's protection, and it just wouldn't happen unless it was meant to happen, right? So, and of course, we do know that we'll just start right off with the biggest conspiracy of all, right? The JFK assassination, because we do know that the older Bush, the first Bush president was in the CIA. I think he was the director of the CIA during that time. And, we know that the Bush family is evil, right? So I'm just trying to say, it's funny how they just want to label people as like crazy conspiracy theory things. And if you go online and research like conspiracy theories and stuff like that, they have a whole, because when I was looking for this today, I found this article and then I saw other information pop up, and it's all these little tidbits of like why people believe in conspiracy theories, what type of personality is attracted to conspiracy theories, and all this and everything you see about it just always is a knock, right? It's always like to put this idea and to couch this in your head that you're an idiot for believing anything except for like what David Muir says on World News, right? So let's just be real about it. So I found it interesting that let's get into this article here, ladies and gentlemen. It says a scientist, and of course science. We know how much we trust our scientists nowadays, right? Especially after the fake pandemic and such, and all the stuff that they're putting out. Remember how that was too during that time? The science. Yeah, I trust the science. And people who are all masked up and jabbed up and like running for their lives, I trust the science. That's what everybody was saying all the time. But researchers found that people searching, and they label it as misinformation online, risk falling into data voids that increase belief in conspiracies. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to try to paraphrase some of this because not a long article, but I don't want to read it verbatim per se. But if you've ever found it puzzling to do your own research, is a slogan for conspiracy theorists of all stripes. New research may have some answers, but it is true. That is the big thing now. Even on the other side of stuff, the people who do really believe in the conspiracies and all, they're always, it's always a great thing. Do your research. That's just as funny as trust the science in a way, right? Because it's really opposites of the same. Even we are doing our research. Let's just be realistic about it too. When we do our research, we are subjected to, the confines of what information is available. If you're really going to do real research and stuff, you're gonna have to cross-reference many different sources, and really it's all little pieces of information that you put together. That's how you come up with the theory, right? So it's not like you're just going to come out and blatantly tell you exactly what's what. But anyway, while conventional wisdom holds that researching the veracity of fake news would reduce belief in misinformation, a study published on Wednesday has found that using online research engines to vet conspiracies can actually increase the chance that someone will believe it. And again, let's just remember that this is a scientific study done by mainstream to try to let you know that you're being misinformed by researching anything and finding out other truths that may exist. They want what's really amazing about this, really, to me, right off the bat, is just that it's become such a they can't contain the truth anymore, right? So many people are waking up and seeing different perspectives. No matter what the exact truth is to any quote-unquote conspiracy, people are asking more questions and looking for alternatives as opposed to the narratives that we're spoon-fed on a daily basis. And in their effort to quell this quandary of human beings thinking for themselves, they do a study that shows you that if you do your research, you're more likely to actually believe in conspiracy theories. We don't want that. So please just watch CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and the world news and your local news and all that crap, and hopefully you'll be all right. So let's see. I'm going to scroll down a little bit further here. Let's see here. Where did I leave off on that? Blah, blah, blah. The researchers point to a known problem in searching called data voids. Sometimes there's not enough high-quality information to counter misleading headlines or surrounding fringe theories. So when someone sees an article online about a quote-unquote engineered famine due to COVID-19 lockdowns and vaccines and conducts an unsophisticated search based on those keywords, they might find articles that reaffirm their bias. So, basically, of course, saying, we can't pump out enough information to offset all the lies that we're trying to hide. It's just really crazy, right? It's just it's just really funny. The question here was, what happens when people encounter an article online? They're not sure if it's true or false, and so they go look for more information about it using a search engine. Blah, blah, blah. You see exactly this kind of suggestion in a lot of digital literacy guides. So I guess they're just trying to say, all right, I don't know what they're trying to say, but, you're going to do more research, and they're saying that the search engines that you're using aren't applicable, or not for anything. You can find information that's real, like on Google and stuff, just for not to bring up and get heavy like on 9/11 or anything, but listen, this stuff has been going on all this time, and I think a lot of people know that 9/11 is not exactly what they said. Let's just be real about it, right? First of all, this thing happens, this attack, quote unquote, by these terrorists, quote unquote, on our land, right? That now puts us in a position, how convenient. Now we have like a free license to, go overseas and do whatever we want to do over there, right? And we have a free license to enact the Patriot Act, which, takes away people's freedoms and stuff. But if you research anything about 9/11 and find anything about, that it wasn't true or not the way that they said, now, you're a conspiracy theorist, and we can't rely on that information because it's just not true, right? Here's one of the things I see too that I found that was funny. They just say that they say, in particular, the research team was interested in knowing how people verify news that's just happened and hasn't yet had a chance to be verified by fact checkers like Snopes or PolitiFact. And now, if you're trusting Snopes, first of all, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, they set up all this stuff to give you, it's called projection. This whole article, this whole mindset of what they're trying to say is called projection. Because they're the ones, the real conspiracy is this. The conspiracy theories are the true stuff, right? In a way, probably not everything in exactly the way, but still, people know. All you got to know is that you see how our world operates, and it's full of corruption and stuff. Why wouldn't the conspiracies be true? Let's just think about it, from that aspect. And then they put out these other sites like Snopes or even Wikipedia. You know what I'm trying to say? And all that kind of crap where they just pump information that's not even really true into there, and just they just want to keep pushing that mainstream narrative. So they have a site like Snopes or something where they can go on and say, oh no, I saw it on Snopes. We fact check this. It's like just like on Facebook when they do the fact checking on your Facebook, right? And they're really putting anybody who put something negative about COVID or, the narrative regarding the pandemic, oh no, this was fact check and you're wrong. It's like, okay, but we all can see that there wasn't a pandemic, and we all can see how you're trying to take people's rights away. And between the, travel passes or, vaccine card or whatever the frig they were trying to do, if they're still trying to do it, I don't even know. But let's see here. Let's see if we can scroll down a little bit. Let's see. They're talking about events. Let me just read this, I guess. In the first experiment of the study, which began in late 2019, it's funny, they started doing this in late 2019, just before, COVID hit, just before they unleashed all this stuff that they knew was going to bring all this to fruition. Kind of interesting when you think of it that way, right? Some 3,000 people across the United States evaluated, 3,000 people across the U.S. evaluated the accuracy of news articles that had been published in a 48-hour period about topics like COVID-19, vaccines, the Trump impeachment proceedings, and climate events. Some articles were collected from reputable sources, while others were intentionally misleading. Half of the participants were encouraged to search online to help them vet the articles. At the same time, all the articles were given a true, false, or misleading, or could not be determined label by professional fact checkers. So they were doing that on the backside. People who had been nudged to look for more information online were 19% more likely to rate a false or misleading article as fact compared to those who weren't encouraged. What they found is that over and over again, people are over-relying on these search engines or their social connections. They put blind faith in them. And they think they've done their due diligence and checking, but it makes it worse than not checking. So basically, they're saying, we don't want you to go out there and research anything because you might find information that doesn't coincide with what the narratives that we're trying to push. It's like, could you believe this though? It's just like, this is so interesting to me that they actually haven't. And the really interesting part is just the fact that there's an article about this saying that people who are doing their own research are more likely to believe in conspiracies. But, really, what's that really saying? What it's really saying is people who are doing their own research are looking for different information, right? It's saying that they don't vibe with what's being put out there, and they're trying to find the truth. Is all of what we find online regarding certain things true? No. But at the same time, we do know that the mainstream narrative is not true. We do know that we're not getting the full story. I mean, look at everything with Fauci and all, and how much stuff has come out with Fauci and all the crap that was really going on with COVID and everything else. I mean, I'm just trying to say, right? We're never really given the full facts, from the people that we're entrusting, quote unquote, or supposedly entrusting to give us those facts, right? It just goes on and on. And in 4 other experiments, which ran between 2019 and 2021, researchers found that even if people had initially rated an article as misleading, roughly 18% of them changed their mind and said the article was true after searching online, compared to just 6% changing from true to false. This held even if the articles were months instead of hours old, or if the news was well covered, like the pandemic was. The researchers showed this effect arises because of the quality of information churned out by Google's search engine. Partly that was because of what are called data voids. They're back to this data voids. The internet is full of junk theory, basically, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I think that there's more here, but I mean, that pretty much covers it. They're just basically trying to say there's not enough information out there. The search engines pump things out, blah, blah, blah. But, it's Google then. Why are you talking about people believing stuff that's not true? Why is Google allowing, I don't know. It's just a goofy thing, man. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit information. For all we really got to know, the takeaway from this is, I would say you should always be doing your research. Research in the sense of, I get it, right? If we're out online, anything could be on the internet. It could be manipulated by both sides. You have no idea exactly everything, you're seeing. All you know is what feels right in your heart. And that's what I always talk about here, on Operation Status Quo. That's why we talk about everything the way we do. Because no matter what, it's always about really what resonates with you within your heart, what feels right. I mean, that's why are people searching other information? Because their intuition is telling them something's not right. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get all the answers that you think you should get, or, that you're not going to, Google the truth behind JFK assassination, and all of a sudden they're going to come out and tell you exactly, it wasn't true the way that it was told. They'll there might be some articles that talk about it, but they're not going to, come out and say that way, right? So it's just such a mishmash of information in so many regards that it's impossible almost for anyone to know what is really going on. And how I think of things anyway, I think of all time as one, and I think of everything in levels. And, there's so much shit going on behind the scenes. I believe in stuff that, people that we think they're like one position or one personality, and they're really not, it's like a cover, for doing something else. We believe, a good example is, I saw somebody do, I wish I should do a show about this too sometime, but one of the people that I watch sometimes did a whole decode on Batman Begins, right? So the movie Batman Begins, and attributed it to, how it's really an allegory for, JFK Jr. and the JFK family and blah, blah, blah. And, just think about the story of Batman, right? Like there's Batman out there trying to, protect, Gotham, and Bruce Wayne is looked at as some, just playboy millionaire, goofy guy, and anybody in the public would think that he's a loser in a sense, right? He's just some rich, guy who don't give a crap and just doing whatever he wants to do and living in a little dream world. But that whole existence is actually a cover, for him being Batman and doing the stuff that he has to do, to protect, the city, right? So all I'm just trying to say is, I know that's it's a quick example, but I mean, just think about that in our real world, right? Like you don't think that goes on. You don't think that there's people that's what I think about even with Trump. Like, Trump is not what everybody just thinks he's just some egomaniac that decided to become president and he wants to take over the world. I mean, he's portraying this character, Donald Trump, that's abrasive and this, that, and the other, and the way, that it comes across. But, underneath, like, he's actually somebody else, a part of a mission that's doing something different, So, we have to really just be mindful of everything that we're seeing all the time. And to me, quite honestly, just to see them put out an article like this to try to say that doing your own research, leads to believing in conspiracies, that to me, I mean, that's just incredible, right? I mean, that just shows really how fearful, the other side is, because they know the population is waking up. They know people are thinking things in a different way, and they don't want people to get to that space. They want to keep them in the space that they have us in, but that space is quickly diminishing, right? So they're pulling out all the stops and trying to the scientists have said, I love it. Science. It's just, in our world of science too, not to say like, of course, science, but it just mean like, we only know science based on our interpretation of the parameters through which we can perceive and express and understand and label and quantify. There's so many more levels of everything beyond, and everybody wants to hang on. Oh, the science. It always got me so agitated during that time. Trust the science. I know the science. I listen to science. And it's like, okay, you listen to science. Now you're jabbed up and you're sick and, you're poisoned, and you're wearing a mask, hiding in your basement. You know what I'm saying? Because you trust the science, So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's basically kind of what I got for you. You can find that article. Let me see if you want to go find it for yourself, and you can read it. It was on Vice is the site that it was on. And I guess it came through, what do they call it? Motherboard something is one of the spots on Motherboard Tech by Vice, or but if you go on the Vice website, and I guess Motherboard is one of the selections. Otherwise, you can just Google it and find it yourself. It's scientists explain why doing your own research leads to believing conspiracies, and they want to talk about data voids. Yeah, of course, there's data voids. All the data voids that you guys leave out of everything. Like the way the COVID tests were rigged, that everybody tests positive. I'm just saying, like, I mean, come on, man. Like, it's just so ridiculous. And they don't want people to think for themselves in any way whatsoever. They want to demean people for having a different view. They just want everybody to, follow along the mainstream of what's supposed to be good. I mean, that's why I don't even trust, this whole thing going on with the way the mainstream news supports Israel. I don't have a side in anything. I can give an F about all that kind of stuff because it's all, to me, perpetrated to divide people anyway, So this is not a slight against Israeli people. It's not a slight against Palestinian people, but just the way they promote everything. And if anybody that doesn't support Israel's anti-Semitic, and I don't know, just like, why are they pushing everybody in that direction? That's all I'm trying to say. And it becomes like a common, just a common way that it's just matter of fact. You know what I mean? It's just like, they just say it so much and put it out in such a way that it's just matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? This is just how it is. And if you're a person person that doesn't believe this, then, you're an anti-Semite, or you're a racist, or, you're a transphobe, or, just all the narratives that they put out. And then they want to tell you that doing some research and trying to look a little bit deeper into ideas and topics and trying to say, let me see if I can get a little clearer picture on this. You're actually going to believe the conspiracy theories more. It's not that you would believe them more. I would think that you're going to find a lot more information online that is going to support other ideas, as opposed to just watching your local news and world news and all that crap, right? Because they're never going to say, I find so much information online in different avenues of whether it be our economy, whether it be the wars that are going on. Just everything, right? Behind the scenes, political, blah blah blah, everything. And you turn on the news and they're not talking about anything. To me, it's like the whole human trafficking thing. Whether it's the crazy, you can go down whatever road you want to go down. There's people I listen to that talk about, the aliens, and how, we're being farmed as humans and they're feeding on us and blah, 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 all the way to just what the news talks about is like, the cartels do some human smuggling and bring people in to sell them into the sex trade or something. So whether it's as extreme as aliens or, human trafficking is being done to feed the aliens, or whether it's just the cartels bringing in some people for sex trade. Either way, to me, a story like that should be like a headline all the time until it stops, right? You know what I'm saying? There's all this really big, heavy stuff going on, this deep stuff, and nobody gives a F. They just come on and it's just the normal crap that they do over and over again. So, I think we should all expand our thinking. We shouldn't put all our eggs in one basket, but we should all, be open-minded to receive. And I think the most important thing, is, again, going back to your intuition. And, because ultimately there is no right or wrong, good or bad. We're all a soul on a path, and everything that's happening in our world is meant for all of us to learn, and everybody has a different view and perception and blah, 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 blah. So, you got to do what vibes right for you. The world's always going to be a playground of madness and duality and everything else that goes on. So, and they don't want people to understand their true potential and power to be a free thinker in that way, and to just live your life listening to your heart and listening to God, as opposed to listening to the mainstream narrative and Joe the clone Biden. So anyway, that's what I got for you here today on Operation Status Quo. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much for your time, as I always do. Oh, I wanted to hit a couple of these buttons, and I forgot to do that.
What do you know?
I know absolutely nothing. That is true.
Stop yanking my chain.
I'm sorry about that, but I'm just trying to express ideas that I think other people would believe in.
Believe.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I appreciate that too. I meant to pop a couple of those while I was reading the article, but I never got back to it. I just start talking, and that's how it goes. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I love you guys out there. I really do. Listen, the world is a beautiful place overall. It's just enjoy your life. Listen to your heart. Enjoy nature. Enjoy a nice deep breath outside if you're not in one of those smog-filled cities, and just enjoy, and let's not let everything get too heavy on us. And keep doing your research. Don't listen to these SOBs, that are trying to tell you that if you research something, you're more likely to believe a conspiracy theory. Because you know what? I would encourage it then. If you're more likely to believe a conspiracy theory, I say good, because most of them have a lot of truth in them, one way or another, whether it be the flat earth or the Kennedy assassination or 9/11 or whatever, the Pearl Harbor, the Titanic. We just go down the list, and we know that we don't have the real story on any of those things. So we just have to keep searching, right? All right. So anyway, I thank you for your time, as I always do, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. I love each and every one of you out there individually as well as a group. And until tomorrow, Operation Status Quo disengaged.